Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Football United TV. Thank you so much for tuning in, subscribing, sharing, and liking. It means so much. We're back with United Across the Pond. We've got Renee Speedwaffle back again, and also a very special guest from the United Agenda on Monday. How are you both?
Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Turmoil this week with not just Man United, but like six of the top teams in the Premier League and a few others on the outskirts. I don't even know where to begin. I guess maybe with Renee, right? Because the Glazers and the fact that, a lot of people want them out and the stuff that they have been saying recently. And I know that I believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer actually came out today, not in a press conference, but spoke to some hardcore Man United fans when they entered the training facilities at Carrington, said Joel Glazer loves Man United, leave him alone. Now, we'll go into that a little bit, but yeah, it is very difficult. I'm not saying it's truth because it might not be. We need to hear it from himself, don't we? But Renee, what do you make of this whole European Super League and the fact that we have pulled out of it now? Do you think this is a good thing?
For everybody backing out, yes. I think it's a blatant message to the footballing world that there are owners like this, and it's probably going to happen again. They're going to try to do this again. And everybody, and I say we as in the footballing community, and even like managers, anybody needs to pay attention. It's a rude awakening. It's going to happen. They're going to try it again. Like I said, they're reshaping it or reshaping this, and it's a possibility that you're going to make another effort to get these other clubs to, come back. And it's not worth it, to be honest. You're going to kill football. You're going to kill the smaller teams, the smaller leagues. It's just a pyramid scheme to make more fucking money. And money's great. Who doesn't love money? But you know what? When you're killing an entire sport to line your fucking pockets with it, nah, it ain't worth it.
Would you agree with that, Mondi?
Yeah, I tend to agree with what Renee said. And I'm still trying to grasp some understanding about it. I don't really like to talk about things that I don't really understand, and I think this has opened the eyes. I'm really a football fan. I like the game. I played the game last night. I play regularly. I just love watching football. But when it comes to the politics, the business side of things, I try to tend to ignore that because money in the rich man's world, as Abba said, it's the root of all evil, and I tend to leave things like that alone. But we have to talk about these things and we have to get more wisdom on this because it seems like they're 10 steps ahead of us. This was planned in like 1998 and it's always been whispered, no one can deny that they haven't heard about this before. But for it to come to fruition on Sunday with a little email, it suggests there's a bit of trickery going on and the reaction, and it gives people a false sense, I feel, that the fans have power because a lot of people walk around now. I'm just observing. Just my observation. I just see a lot of fans now thinking they've got a lot of power to make decisions, and we've got rid of the rich, and we've told them so, and all this kind of thing. And I think it's a bit of a deception, actually. I'm not so sure that is the case. I just think they've just planted the seed. People have bitten, knowing that the reaction would be like that, And I'm just very suspicious of it. And I think the more wisdom and with time, more will come out. As Renee said, they're just instead of saying, right, we cancelled it, they've actually said, you have to listen to what they say. They're going to reshape it. So the agenda's still there for them. So it's all up in the air right now. Thank you.
That was very, very well put. It is. I think Perez came out today saying that he's still going to try and go through with it, whether it be this season or next season or whatever. Do you think that clubs will fold? Do you think Manchester United eventually, if I mean, if they do stick with the Glazers, they're going to want to go into this because they were the forefront runners of making this happen, right? Especially Joel, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And this guy, like he said, this is for the greater football. But yeah, like 2 weeks before, he had no idea what the offside rule was. So I don't know how you can trust somebody who doesn't know.
I mean, in his defense, I don't think anybody knows what the offside rule is anymore because of VAR. So I mean,
that's true.
I mean, that's debatable. But he didn't know a lot of things about, and they bought us not knowing anything about football. They bought us specifically for money. They bought us with debt. Essentially, is what they did, and it's. Oh my God, we need to get him out. We need someone who's going to, buy us and put money into the club and make us great, and push us to be better instead of buying us just for the sake of fucking buying us because Manchester United sells. The name itself sells everything, and that's what they want.
Yeah.
That's why they bought Tom Brady. Tom Brady sells. Tom Brady wins games. Well, so does Manchester United, but we signed nothing. We're lucky we got Bruno. I mean, like, we should be having people already wanting to come and play for us, but we won't sign them. We need people who are going to be like, hey, you want to play for us? Well, we're going to sign you. And we're going to make this a great team. And we're going to, we're going to go in the league. We're going to go in, UEFA. We're going to go win this and that. And we don't hear that from any of them. Anybody. At all. And that's kind of concerning. It's like, it's like, hey, maybe you might want to at least try to act like you care about this team.
Right. So, do you think that the Glazers actually care, or is it just for profit that they're thinking of? Like, or do they actually give a damn about Manchester United and how they do in the Premier League and Champions League, etc., etc.?
The only reason they care about us when we play is because the more tournaments and more games we win, the more money we make. They don't give two shits about us. They don't care. They're worried about how much we're making per tournament, how much we're making per game, how much we're doing in terms where we place. We get bonuses where we finish, all this stuff. That's what they're concerned with. I mean, if they're honestly, I bought a team and was like, hey, I want to learn how to, learn about football, that'd be different. But there's never been an effort or any kind of communication from them to down, even to us. Hey, I would show more respect for someone who wants to learn the game of football and be passionate about a club than someone being like, I don't even know what the offsides rule is, and you've been in our club for 16 years. It's like, and we don't hear nothing from them either. They don't say anything. And it's like, okay, well, no. I don't know. I'm just over the fact that we just need them out. Like I said, we need someone who's going to give a crap about this club and support it and take care of it and not just maintain for this main, I think, objective of just making money off of us.
Would you agree, Omondi? I mean, like, what do you think needs to happen with Man United on this? If it's going to come back around again, like, do you think we need to just par it off straight away, or do you think we should be looking into maybe starting a new league? Do you think it is going to happen sometime? It's inevitable.
Like I say, I'm just a football man. I don't know. We're speculating on the show tonight, aren't we? We really don't know. Probably plans be already been made, and it's all part of it. I asked myself a few questions. I think to myself, well, prior to the Premier League, Man United weren't doing too great, were we? It was only until the big, and there was a big outcry in 1992 about the Premier League coming into fruition and the old league being rejected, and they were saying about they're going to reduce to 18 teams and all the money that's been generated at the top of the Prem again now. And now we've seen like bigger teams like Chelsea and Manchester City and all these other teams have got that money and come in. We haven't seen many teams come up from the old league and establish themselves. Just a few yo-yo clubs, So, oh, my man, my favorite commentator. Yeah.
Talking news in the house.
Yeah, wow.
Oh,
in the house.
Renee.
My question would be, how did Man United generate money prior to the Premier League? Is that sustainable? can you continue to do it based on, we used to have like 45,000 capacity and packed every week. So that was when I felt the fans really had a say in the income, the gate receipts, that kind of thing. That was really important. But since then, we've been on the stock market, for example, we're selling our brand in Thailand, in the Far East, in Africa, all around the world. So there's other ways of generating money. So for the fans to say that they're important, if you're a businessman, I wouldn't really suggest they are, because look, we've had COVID for so long and no fans in the stadiums and the gate receipts and all this. So I don't know the figures, but clubs are still surviving. It's the ones at the bottom, the grassroots clubs, my local club hadn't been open for over a year. It's only now just opened up again, and they rely on fan income and gate receipts. So it's a different ball game we're dealing with this Premiership and thing. Clubs are really generating money elsewhere without the fans. So I can understand why they don't really want to hear the fans' voice, because we say, well, who are you? We make our own money now. Do you see what I'm saying? And like, for example, they were suggesting that Man City and Chelsea, two clubs who are financed by wealthy, whether it's from the Middle East or a Russian billionaire, they generate their own money, so they don't really need it, So they were the first guys to pull out, and they were the first guys to suggest they weren't really interested in the first place. So yeah, like I say, it's speculation. But hi, Talk MU. Greetings.
Oh yeah.
What you got?
Nice to speak to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you, sir.
What have you got to say about this talk, mate?
Yeah, I mean, being from that neck of the woods, as you can probably tell from my accent.
Yeah.
No, never.
I mean, you know what? They've got this. I hope now that the Glazers are all standing looking at each other and going, "Oh shit, oh shit!" Right, we've got to make a decision now. You either spend that money, 250 million minimum for Ollie in the summer, or you just put it on the market, mate. End of story. You can't have it both ways. Ollie, well, last time I looked at Ollie, I didn't see a staff at the side of him like Gandalf. You know what I mean? He's not a wizard. You know what I mean? He's not a wizard. He's not just going to make, you know what I mean? Make magic happen. No, he's doing his best with what he's got. And at the end of the day, to be where we are with serious deficiencies in that squad, you know what? He's got to have money. You've got to give him money. I know there's a lot of people who are Ollie in and Ollie out, and I don't know what your stance is on Ollie's position for Renee and Omondi. I don't know what where do you stand on that?
I think I mean, Ole has done, I think, a wonderful job with not being backed in the summer last year, and we have no depth. I mean, we have nothing, and that's the thing. That's why we were talking about earlier. We have to sign people, and we have all this money that we can put down on some decent players who we can make great. We don't even have. I mean, honestly, yeah, we would like, world-class players signing for us immediately. Yes, not always feasible. I feel like we can find some pretty decent players who will bust their butt for us and be great in the long run. But, as we build them up, to get a solid depth of a team where we can actually rotate people out like Bruno and Maguire and, Rashi, and give them a break. Before that, we used to be able to play anybody anywhere, and it was fine because Fergie had that backing. But now we don't have that backing anymore, especially from the Glazers. And it's either they need to start backing our manager and supporting this club, or they need to sell the club and fuck off.
I'll add to that. I think what they think is, because obviously with Fergie being Fergie, I mean, they're kind of thinking like, oh, this is great. We don't have to spend loads and loads and loads of money, but we get a manager like Fergie who can do the business, and get us winning stuff without us actually spending money. But I think they're coming to realise now that doesn't happen. You're not going to get another Ferguson. You're not going to get another Pep for a long, long, long time. These kind of managers are once in a generation. I mean, you can put Klopp, alongside them to a certain extent, but until Klopp goes and does it with another team, and maybe even in the Premier League or a different league. He did it in Dortmund. Was it Dortmund? He was at.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
He did it at Dortmund, but I mean, yeah. But anyway, we've got to, whatever manager they're going to bring in, they have to realise they've got to put their hand in their pocket. Otherwise, it ain't going to work. It's just.
So what's happened with Tottenham then? Why don't we get Ryan Mason? I'm joking, by the way. Like, I don't know why they've appointed Ryan Mason. I don't understand.
I think he was just there.
Guys, do you see the parallels here? Do you not see the parallels here? We had Jose, and we were in the same mood as Spurs fans up recently. And as soon as we got Jose out, we got in a former player who was quite young, inexperienced, and we went on a good run. We went on a 10-12 game run just from being freed up from the restrictions of Jose Mourinho. And I think the same thing happened with Ollie when he came to Man United. Not to say Ryan Mason's a great manager with great experience. He hasn't got it. But he's a face. He's known to the players. He can pat the players on the back, cut their toenails and do all that. The same thing Ollie does. And the same thing applies to that. So I see a lot of parallels between Spurs, what they've done recently, and with Man United. As you guys know, I don't know if you know MU, was it the guy MU, Mr. MU? Mr. MU, bottom left.
Talk.
Yeah. MU, yeah. I'm support Man United, but I'm not supportive of Ollie. I think tactically he's inexperienced. We shouldn't have a manager there learning on a job. I think he's part of the face. He's just a face there with other people doing stuff behind the scenes. But tactically, we should be a lot. There's been a lot of errors this year on the football field where I think he's not doing much. He's not implementing a style. You talk about Fergie, you talk about Klopp. These guys, Klopp came with a philosophy. He's got a system of play. He's implemented it to the club. And you see in transformation, you see they've got an identity, Liverpool. Same with Pep. He's got an identity, a style of play. But with Ollie, we've all been talking here about buying players and, they've got to invest in Ollie and buy players. I don't think so. I'd rather see an investment in a philosophy, a style. And all he doesn't really talk tactics, but he does refer back a lot to Alex Ferguson days because that's what he knows. And that's all about winning mentality, passion, fighting for the club and all that kind of thing. But I'm not seeing a style of play, a pattern of play that's productive and which is going to take us going forward. And this is where we talk about issues about Bruno signing a new contract, Pogba signing a new contract. I think that's what it boils down to. They're not seeing any progression with the tactics. He's been there nearly 2 years now, and I want to see a lot more. I don't see anything, no style of play or anything like that gives me confidence in him.
I think that'll change once we get signings. To be honest with you.
The thing with Ollie is right. In my opinion, what they've done is they've started. Whether it was the Glazers or whether it was Woodward and the rest of the board, could see what we were going way off track. Not just in a footballing sense, but in a club sense and a philosophy sense. Youth, courage, greatness. That's what we're about. Youth, as in the youth, you bring them through. Courage, as in you play attacking football and go out and entertain those fans who are paying good money. And greatness, well, that speaks for itself because we are. But they've identified Ollie for me as somebody who could come in because of the experience he's got that he had at Mulder and at Cardiff. If we bring this guy in, he understands the club ethos and philosophy. Let's bring him in and just get everything back on track. Pull everything back together. So Ollie came in and sort of dragged everything back into place and reminded everybody of the fact that, look, this is Man United that you're playing for. You've got to behave like this. This is what you have to be polite to people. You have to yes sir, no sir, everything, all that kind of stuff. And then with the winning streak at the start, it was like, whoa, shit, where's that come from? I mean, because let's have it right. We all thought that, didn't we? You know what I mean? We all thought. Whoa. We
were all singing that song, Ole's at the wheel. We even put Sanchez in that song. We were that desperate. We put Sanchez.
Sanchez is on piano.
You know what? I mean, for me, Omondi, the thing for me is when I look at Ole, I think, you know what? All right, we got the third position. We're losing out in these competitions where we shouldn't be, which is a concern. Now, he's because I don't know why he's gone to the 4-2-3-1 because Mulder, he was 4-3-3. That's what he won it with. That's what his favourite formation was. So why? I know. Yeah, it's a lot of people could say that we didn't have the players or don't have the players for a 4-3-3, but we don't have the DM. That's just always for me. It's the key because number 6 is the key to 4-2-3-1. It's just as simple as that, and we haven't got that at this moment. Now, what I would say is, okay, let him spend that money. Let's trust him. Just spend that money, and if by the middle of next season there is absolutely no improvement, then that's it. It's got to be curtains for him.
Omondi, yeah.
I don't know what you think of that.
I disagree. I have to. We're going to bump heads, I'm afraid.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I disagree. By now, look, we have to analyze what we're seeing, and the 4-2-3-1. Okay, that's what he's gone with. He did occasionally use a 5-3-2 when he wants to try to mix it up, but he stopped that now. That was a failure, So it's the 4-2-3-1. We all know that. He's got the players there to do it. And all this DM thing saying you need a DM to come in or a thing. I disagree. I think you tell the players to play that role. Fred, for example, he's come. What is he? I don't know. He should just be a pincher, a DM. Just make him sit and do his role. But he does other things he's not supposed to do, and he's killing us. I feel getting himself out of position by going too far up the pitch. He should just sit there, do his job, what he's good at, and pinch people. Take the ball and pass it off, short pass, something he's capable of doing, not anything else. So my problem is we can't go forward like Renee just said about going forward. If we buy the players, then we might see some sort of dramatic system or pattern of play. The pattern of play should be inherent in Ollie and in his system. We should be able to see by now a style of play of Manchester United. But we're not. We're seeing Luke Shaw overlap or do something or cross the ball from the 6-yard box. Maybe, yeah, okay. But if I asked all you guys now, with all our goals, are we seeing a similar like Man City? They play the ball, have possession in the opposition area, an opposition half, pop the ball around. This is their philosophy, by the way. They have triangles. There's always someone available. I was watching them last night playing the way they're facing. Pop, 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 pop. Wear the opposition out, and then they can pass the ball in the net. Eventually. Once they get the right opening, Liverpool, they have a system. We've seen them in the last couple of years when they're on fire. They had a lot of peak players in the peak of their career, which helps as well. And they're direct. They got 3 midfielders who were pressing all the time, putting people under pressure. They played high at the pitch. They had Van Dijk and Gomez who were quick enough to play a higher line. So anything in behind them, they can get there. A sweeper keeper to sweep up the mess. So everything was orchestrated to play their system. I'm asking you guys, what is our system? What is Ollie's philosophy? Because we go into next season and we've been having false delusions here that we're second best team in the league. When really Chelsea, Liverpool, who are often had an off year, Chelsea going to improve, other teams might improve, and we might even make top 4. And there's been so many examples this year. Sheffield United, Crystal Palace twice, Everton drawing at Everton, 1-0 up at home to Milan, and then going back to a 3-5-2 and letting them inviting pressure and conceding a goal. There's so many examples where I'm saying it's the players are bailing us out. And the main issue, sorry, I'm waffling a bit, but the main issue, I do when it comes to Ollie. But the main issue, I think we're having, when you're coming up against a team, we're Man United, okay. So when we're coming up a team, when we got possession and teams will sit back, we can't break them down. We're struggling to break teams down. And I'm saying this is where you need a bit more. So Ollie, congratulations, he's taken us to some, he's plateaued a bit. He's taken us to a level, but we need someone tactically to take us to that next level to be able to break teams down, but who's also got the same philosophy. Because I totally agree with you, MU, about Ollie and the philosophy, what we're doing, buying a certain type of player that suits us. Our youth academy is buzzing at the moment. There's so many good players. Dan, Hannibal, we've got what's his name? Ahmad. Shola. All these guys are coming through. This is and just like Rashford, Lingard, McTominay. This is our ID. This is what we really need to do. So the 3 things that the 3 criteria that you said about courage.
Youth, courage, greatness.
Yeah, I think that's part of our identity. So that's the philosophy. We didn't have that with Van Gaal. We didn't have that with Mourinho. We didn't have that with Moyes. But now Ollie, or the philosophy behind Ollie, is great. I'm with you on that. But and bringing these young players in, great, fantastic. But it's time now to have a philosophy of play, a style of play, and we need to develop it and be able to break teams down. Because then we would be a tighter challenge right now. We wouldn't be like 8-9 points behind, thinking, if only. We had opportunities this year, but if only we would have the ability to break teams down, and that's what Ollie's not giving us. Sorry, I'm going.
No, you go.
And I think part of our problem with not breaking teams down, nobody moves, nobody makes runs, nobody opens up. There's no shifting. It's like you get shut off, and it's like, oh, okay, well, never mind then. It's like, no, move.
Yeah.
Find somewhere, make something happen. That is not Ollie's fault. That is whoever's on the pitch needs to start moving
when it
around.
comes to that's
Ollie's. Sorry. That's Ollie's fault, Renee. That's Ollie's supposed to give to the team. He's a manager. He's supposed to give them a style of play to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, also with that being said, though, like if you know you're getting cut off, you should be moving. Like I mean, I guess it's both ways.
A low block. When you come up against a low block of parking the bus, then. I mean, look, what happens when Manchester City play? Most teams park the bus. What do? Man City, what do they do best? They get in behind. Behind. This is what we're missing. And I agree with that with the inertia in our front players is sometimes criminal. But you know what? You've got players like Bruno on that pitch. You can make things happen. Then do you not? Let me put it this way, Ian. If with where we are right now with Ollie. If I say to you, okay, look, there's a risk here. If we take this guy out, right, everything to this point now, it's like a deck of cards, a stack of cards here. If you take this card out here, there's a big risk that the whole thing is going to just come tumbling down. And the other guy that you're going to get in, he might be able to rebuild what Ollie's got. But by the time he's rebuilt that, he may lose out on other aspects of his management. So, if you were to keep Ollie there, and what about looking at the coaching side of things, the staff?
Yeah, that's also another thing too.
Well, there was I think the whole training ground incident today. It was quite funny. I think if you read the report, it sounds like a comedy. So like they went onto the training field and a scouser came out and was like, "Hey, you!" Like, and everyone was like,
"That was great scouts."
No, I'll do mine.
Get
off, please. Hey, you can't go on that grass,
Get off the grass, mate. Get off the grass.
He's got it down.
You little devil, you get off the grass. You can't be here. Get off the grass.
Oh my God, I'm dying.
And apparently Ollie came out. It's terrible. Smash it, smash the subscribe.
Bang on, guys.
Oh my God.
But Ole come out and was like, he said, that I support Joel. Joel really loves the club, and I support the.
I find that hard to fucking believe. I find that hard to believe.
Soft.
And there's no evidence that it was said.
No, there isn't.
No video, nothing. Which tells me that it didn't fucking happen, and people have an agenda. They still have an agenda after Ole, and if you don't like Ole, then that's on you. I mean, that's everybody has their own opinion, but I find that really hard to believe when there's no evidence.
I just want to hear him come out and say something and say, be against.
They're not going to.
We've got to wait till Friday, haven't we? I think that's when he's going to really be pulled out on the whole training today and everything. So we'll hear something a bit more about that. He has been used a little bit, hasn't he? He hasn't had the time to come out and address it like other managers have. You've had Man City, you've had Liverpool play since, and they've been able to address it in a good way on Sky Sports. But he hasn't. They asked him straight, like at the minute, and he was like, "What? Like, what's going on?"
5 minutes after it was announced, he did the press conference after he won, and he had no fucking idea.
That was a bit of a
tough,
stitch up,
isn't it?
if you ask me.
Oh, I'd have been
bit.
pissed. I would have literally got up and walked out. I would have been like, I have things to discuss. Goodbye.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to remember that Ollie, his job is as manager is to keep that relationship as strong as possible between the players and the owners and the board and everybody else, but to create the harmony. And yeah, I agree. Putting him in a difficult position like this should be discussed. Should have been discussed earlier beforehand between the Glazers and Ollie. To sort of like, look, we need to plan what's going to happen here. Otherwise, we're in this situation.
Omondi.
Thank you. Yeah. Just to add to that, I think if you look at Jurgen Klopp, he came out and said something about the Super League, whatever they call it. He was quite negative about it, and he's not going to win him. But this is Liverpool Football Club. We're part of the Super League, so this is the ethos of the club. This is the way the club policy. This is what they want to do to go forward. So if one of your employees comes out and speaks against it, shouldn't he get a slap? Shouldn't he get sacked? Maybe. So, and this is what I'm saying. So, is Ollie, by endorsing this so-called quote, we say, Renee, you don't even know if he said it or not, but is Ollie just playing along with it, just giving the normal speech for pro his bosses? He's not going to speak against his bosses, is he? I think he does put people in a difficult position. For example, Gary Neville, he's come out and been really vocal about things, but he's not talking about the other corruption in FIFA for years. There's been loads of corruption going on in FIFA. There's corruption. What about Sky Sports? How much, when we were on lockdown, they were charging £19 a game. Yeah. I mean, I didn't see, he's not coming out talking against his bosses, is he? He's all right saying he has fans and, all this kind of thing and passionate speech. But what about Sky? Then if it's got to be, I just like to be fair with things. And I don't work for no one. That's why my word is my sword. That's what I don't care. So I can say what I want. But for Gary Neville, you don't hear him come out when this thing come out about the 1999 deal for each game. He didn't say any word about that. You didn't see him with a passionate speech about that because it's his bosses. Do you see what I'm saying? So sometimes you have to look at things with an open mind and just read between the lines here, because Klopp said something. And Klopp said something in 2019 about it. So he has got some awareness of it. And then Ollie got caught off guard, or Ollie was asked something, he didn't know what to say. And now, obviously, hopefully tomorrow at the pre-match press conference, there he's going to be grilled about it. But then he's probably have a earpiece in his ear, someone telling him what to say.
Well,
by the sounds of it,
this will be the thing now. There will be a conversation will have been had now between the Glazers and Ollie, in which they're going to say, listen, you need to make it clear that you weren't happy about this. This wasn't something that you wanted the team to do and the club to do. You talked to us about it in private, whatever, blah, blah. There's going to be some kind of thing put out there. But, I mean, it's like I say, it's a difficult balancing act for Ollie. He's trying to keep the squad up here, and then if you create a divide between owners, board and players, crikey, man, where does that stop?
Hey, Renee, he wants to be Tampa Bay's head coach. I think that's where he wants to. He's trying to skip over to the NFL.
But with that being said, with all of this, with Ole being said, I mean, obviously that we are looking towards our players as well to speak out against this. Harry Maguire going in and confronting Joel Glazer.
Is that true though?
Yes, he went in and talked to him. That's what I heard. As far as I know, he went in and had a nice word with him. I'm assuming.
But do you know what though? I can't imagine what the let's just think about that for a second. You're the owner. You're the owner of the biggest club.
Excuse me, 1 second.
Yeah. You're the owner of the biggest, or one of the biggest, however you look at it, football clubs in the world, right? You're absolutely stinking rich. Your club is worth $4 billion. You're in the middle of this thing, and then the guy comes in, Harry Maguire, and starts going, "Yeah, what are you doing?" I can't do his accent. I'll do it. I'll do it in a Scouse accent. Hey, what are you doing, lad? This is our fucking football club, mate. You can't do that. All right, the fucking hell, mate. The fucking Liverpool.
I know Renee loves
Right.
She hears that.
Right. So I can't. I mean,
I'm trying not to cry.
Can you imagine the shock on Joel's face? Like Harry Maguire stood there saying, "Yeah, look, mate, what are you trying to do at the club here? We don't want none of this. We don't want any part of this." I mean, I find it. I don't know why, but I find it really, really difficult to actually believe that happened in the way people are sort of imagining it did, because that would be serious. Like, what's the word at work? You know, if you misconduct, is it misconduct if you get sacked?
Gross misconduct.
Yeah. For me, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming. I mean, and Harry Maguire is a big man. Good luck removing him. First off, I mean, he's already been arrested once.
He's not so big in Greece, though.
I was like, he's already arrested once. He's like, I've already been to jail. I'll fucking go.
Bad boy of football.
Calm down, Renee. Calm down. What's your calm it down there.
Oh my god!
You know what? That's too authentic. Are you sure you're not from Liverpool?
Oh my god! Oh my god! The fact that I have my Maguire kit on makes it so much fucking better.
Sorry,
you talk LP.
But I mean, that was, I think, the big thing. I think Bruno spoke out. Rashi did. Shaw did. I think even Brandon Williams did. But like, you know, to actually go in there and, you know, confront, to save our team. They weren't listening. They didn't give two shits. They were going to make all 300 million right off the bat. Like, who cares? Nobody gives a shit. They don't. But I mean, if anybody says he's overpriced, he is no longer overpriced. I think he more than made up for his price tag that we paid for. And
I mean, if this is true and it did actually go down like that, then you know what? Massive respect to him for doing that, and to anybody else who's spoken out, because you know that will prove to me even more so that shirt that they put on each time they go out to play means something to them.
right, they love this. They want to be here. They want to be able to play for the club they want to play for, and. I'm pretty sure Maguire's probably going to get pulled into that conference with Ole as well. They're probably going to want to talk to Maguire, and they're going to want to know what happened, and and everything else. And my thing is, if they put an earpiece in my ear, I'm going to go ahead and toss it out. Fuck you.
Before you jump in, Omondi, I just want to shout out a few. We'll go straight back to you, sir. I just want to shout out a few comments. Glazers out. Brit Smell too. Cheers. FTB Sports Football, what's up, guys? Thank you for joining in. Solo 7 from the United Agenda.
That's right.
We all know who he is. Good evening, guys.
I will never speak up against him. No, that's my boss.
We love you,
boss.
We love you.
The greatest. Go
Solos. It is a great channel, really great channel. Talking Barker. You protesting on Saturday, guys?
I would if I could. I would if I could actually travel.
So how could you if you can't go to it? How, as a Man United fan, can you protest without going outside the stadium? What can you do to change up things?
Honestly, I mean, I don't think it's any different than what a lot of us are doing now. I mean, it's not like I can go, carry a banner, and yell and scream for my club, but social media is a very, very powerful thing, as you guys already know. Constantly staying on it. I mean, Woodward's already going to be gone. We got one step down. The Glazers are next, and if we can force these guys to leave, I mean, I think that says a lot. I mean, social media, in person, anything. I mean, I think the world now knows how corrupt these owners are. I mean, we already kind of knew it anyways, but I think it's been brought more to light than I think some people know.
I want to ask Omondi this. There's a comment that came up, and I think that you might be able to answer it very articulate. What is your instant reaction to the apology issued by the Glazers, if you have heard it?
I think...
was it just a small, we had the Liverpool chairman or the main guy, he came out with a video apology.
Mm-hmm.
And with video, obviously you can see emotion. and people can gauge what they want from that. But I think with the Glazers, it was just one short little text, was it? Am I right?
No, it was a paragraph, and they got down there. Yeah, there's like a couple paragraphs or something.
Okay.
I don't know. It was full of bullshit. I don't know.
Okay, so my reaction to it, as well, I'll just speak for me. Instant reaction to apology. Apology is a bit late. They've had time to consider, and when you've got more time to consider, you can gauge how you want to respond. Like Ollie tomorrow, when he's got his press conference, he's got 2-3 days now to consider how he wants to respond and get it all scripted. So I just think it's scripted, it's artificial, and it's not really dealing with the main point. We don't hear much from these guys, the Glazers. If we do, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not that deep with the things like that. But I don't hear much from them. I don't see a face or statements or anything like that. Do you remember when Kevin Keegan sold Andy Cole? And he stood on the steps, just for example, he stood on the steps of Newcastle and invited all the crowd, and they were asking questions, and he explained himself. And that's why they love him, because the people don't want to see people who are authentic and it means something, you know. But obviously, this is a different level. Everyone knows they don't care about it. Like you said, they don't know the offside rule. So my instant reaction to that would be BS. Means nothing. Yeah.
BS.
Yeah,
So 7 says, if you haven't seen Ole's brief interview today, he has come out back in the Glazer family. Yeah, Renee, what was you going to say?
I was like, the only reason they apologized is because they got found out. It was like, oh no, we got to do that now. Like, that's all it was. You care about our wounds, your history and shit? The fuck you didn't. You were right. You literally fucking had us in the Super League, and it completely ignored, didn't even take anybody else into consideration until everybody started raising hell against you.
Right, yeah.
That your stocks are falling. The stocks are continuing to fall, I believe. I mean, it's like, you know what? Fuck you. I mean, you found out. If you want to sit there and play, they're almost like, it's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. You did. That's sorry. You can take your sorry and shove it up your ass. And get the hell out of here while you still can.
She's very passionate, isn't she?
I've been following United for almost 25 years.
Good.
Just give us the club back and go. Just fuck off.
Yeah, I love the passion. Love it.
I'm gonna say it in New York. I'm gonna say, Renee, your passion for the club is unquestionable. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna send Joey to where over there. He's you're gonna get me, okay? I want you to join the family. We're gonna make it really special for you over here.
Is that authentic in York? Is it?
Oh, no, I guess I don't know. I've never been to New York.
But you know what though? I want to say on a serious note is we may have become a victim of our own success here, because the value of our club now is so massive. Who can afford to buy us?
Yeah.
This is my worry. I mean, if secretly behind closed doors, if they sort of, start to ask questions of people who've been interested in the past, of look, is this something that you're interested in? When they see the valuation of the club, it could be a case of shit, not anymore, mate. We can't be like 4 billion. If it is 4 billion, I mean, that's a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, Conor McGregor is not going to be able to afford 4 billion.
I heard that one.
No.
Yeah, maybe 400 million, but not 4 billion.
Or even like, if anybody is interested in buying us, they better be really careful about what they do, because they've already seen the fan base get real pissed off real quick. If they fuck out, is someone going to really want to deal with the rest of us? I mean,
well, I like the German structure on it, on the whole 50 plus 1. I think that's a really good idea to have. Like, I think supporters should have their voices heard, and they should be able to make the decisions whether things like this should happen or not. I mean, this has been going 3 years, isn't it? This whole structure of trying to build a Europe Super League. I just think, if the fans would have had some sort of say in that, they would have known about this ages ago. Yeah. 3 years ago was before Ole.
Yeah.
So this has been going on since Mourinho, maybe even at the end of Van Gaal, So it's
they waited till Fergie to retire. They waited.
That's why he retired, because he was like, I'm out of this. I know what to do. I'd
have left too, man.
Guys, can I just play devil's advocate here?
Yes.
they're running a business. They have to make the business profitable. If a business means profit-making organization, so you have to make as much profit as possible. Aren't they doing their job?
Well, yeah, because they're making money.
They're not paying
taking money out.
They're not paying off the debt, Omondi. That's the thing. I think they can still get profit from paying that debt, but they're not. They're just leaving it, and then when they sell it, they'll just leave the debt over to somebody else, and it just carries on. You know, like. And I just think that if you really love the club, you just pay that debt off, make money from that 1 year, and then just continue. Like, because we can pay it in 1 year, that debt. It's not that big for what we make. Like,
it's not a good idea to go into this kind of setup when you're in a Peter and Paul sort of position, because they're in a Peter and Paul.
Peter and Paul,
Robin Peter,
Paul.
Oh, right,
so
sorry.
They've got this other interest in the US, and they've got this interest in England. Now, it's like, well, one's not doing good. Right, we'll take some money out of this one that is doing good for the one that isn't, and vice versa. But, well, I say vice versa, but I'm yet to see this money that they earned from the Super Bowl. Was it 500 million, apparently? I don't know if that's correct or not.
Probably more than that.
I don't remember, but who knows?
Okay, so let's just say
the TV rights and everything as well. Like, you think they've made a killing.
500 million, that's why I said in a tweet, it's 250 million or sell. In other words, you give, they're quite clearly going to stick with Ollie. There's, we can voice our opinions about that to a, blue in the face, but whether that will make a change in terms of management, I doubt it very much, because it's once a deal has been signed and everything else, then. But if they back him, give him that money, and again, like I said earlier, if Ollie doesn't live up to the expectation and the demands, sort of, it's then you can't give him another full season if halfway through that season or earlier there is clear signs that, well, wait a minute, you've now had what you wanted, you've had time to bed them in, you've still not got any. Like you say, Omondi, we're still struggling to see how you kind of patterns of play in terms of coming up against a team with a low block.
Yeah,
you should know how to draw them out. You've got to be able to draw a team out. You get them out slowly, move it backwards, entice them with your movement and open space for them to come into, give them a false sense of security, and then sting them when they're not expecting. This is what there's teams that do that. You sting them when they're not expecting it.
Yeah.
But if well, that's it really. That's it.
I want to shout out a few more comments here just before you go on Monday. I will bring you back into that. I'm so sorry, mate. I know these comments are coming through. I better shout out before we finish. They want security in the league, guaranteed money every year. They don't care about the greater good. It's rubbish. They want the NFL mode. And Mr. B says, I think they'll stay. They don't give a crap about anything but money. They take so much money out each year, which is, it's kind of what I was saying. Ollie in, Ollie out, Ollie in, out, shake it all about. It's a hokey cokey, isn't it?
Mr. B, hello.
Mr. B, everybody subscribe, share, like. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We've had a lot of people tuning in today. This is brilliant. Renee, well said. Players in certain positions are lazy. And Mr. B also says Scouse, Harry, Maguire.
Hey, what's wrong with
Monday?
Monday,
what you got to say on what we've just been saying there, pretty much?
Things go through. So there's a couple of things. First thing I was going to say, when we discussed it earlier about 5 minutes ago, we were talking about the Harry Maguire and confronting the Glazers and all this kind of thing. It kind of reminds me of what's the film Jack Nixon when he puts his head through the door and here's with a big head. Yeah. Anyway, the way you guys are talking about it, that's the sort of vision I got. But here's
oh my god,
here's Harry, But but we heard about Henderson. Henderson was talking about all the captains coming together and coming and confronting the Super Six team. So I've read somewhere, don't quote me on anything, but read somewhere that Henderson was get all the captains of the Super Six, so-called Super Six teams, Super League, but the Super Six teams of UK to come together and have a meeting about it, you know, to discuss it. And I think that was it should be quite productive, you know. I don't think it's the players' responsibility to sort of really come out and say things. I think it's got to do. I'd rather be hearing from the chairman, like you said, because the players are just there to do the job of playing football. And when it comes to, you don't really like a lot of these players have just come over. They're from all over the world. It's not like Celtic '67 where they're only, you know, they're local lads and they've got an affinity with the club. It's you can't expect that too much. So Harry Maguire, he's from up north somewhere. Where's Harry Maguire from? He's from northeast, is he? Or I don't know, but he's not from Manchester.
Is he from Hull? Is he like from?
I don't know. Sheffield. Maybe he's from Sheffield.
I think, Yorkshire way.
Yeah. So anyway, you can't
most
players. I
United
don't think it's the duty of the players to come out and speak on this. It's not their place. Leave it to the top guys. And also as well, you have to remember these people. Everyone here is employees, so you don't look stupid and come out and say something. And 2-2s in 2 years' time, you're there playing in the Champions League or the Super Six after you already said, "Oh, I wouldn't do that," you know. So, and there's also, we have to consider the legal side of things, because apparently there's if clubs sign off to another league or something, they can be done for it. So all the lawyers out there, this is something I don't know about. The lawyers talk the legal side of things. What's going to happen with that? I'm sure they haven't crossed the line, but they've just fed you a little bit of bait to see the reaction, and then they're going to go back, reassess, like you said, and come back with something else, which we know is coming. So now is the time, I feel, with all this sort of feeling and, you know, everyone's got something to say about it. Now's the time. If you're going to make any change about this, now's the time to do it. Strike while the iron is hot, as they say.
I mean, I think it may... Oh, sorry.
Go Renee first, and then we'll go to talk.
Oh, sorry, Renee. While you're away, Mr. B said he said about her comment about Harry Maguire.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, that was, I think, when I made the comment that us not being able to break teams down.
Yeah,
there's no movement off the ball. Like, we have to move. And that includes the back four. I mean, we see most of it from Sean Wan-Bissaka, but, I mean, I've also seen Maguire take the ball up, and people complain about that. It's like, doesn't have to stay back there. That's what a CDM is for. Your CDM is supposed to drop back and cover that spot so he can go up. And I'm like, I played center back for years, and I did the same thing, and someone just rotates back. Play the open spots. I mean, but my thing is, when we carry forward, there's no one in the middle. We're crossing the empty boxes. If we get cut off at an angle, there's no one trying to offer up behind, around, trying to get behind anybody either, or even like, hey, just cross the ball. I mean, and sometimes that's the best thing you can do, is just cross the ball and hope for the best. Reset. Go back. But the only thing I can't stand is when we play from the back, because we're terrible from playing from the back. It is one of the most stressful things that this team ever does. Is like, we're too slow. It should be 1, 2, 3. We're across midfield, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 backwards, and then 7 again, and then losing the ball in the defensive third. And it's like, and same thing with Rashi. Rashi's either offside's way too much, or he doesn't make the run. Martial is lazy. He looks like he loses the ball, and it's like, oh, okay, well, whatever. The man is talented as hell. Fucking show it. Play. I mean, we've seen Shaw progress tremendously in form with Ole. We need someone else up front too. Like, that's like, we can't just rely on Cavani. I do believe Cavani is leaving at the end of the season, which we expected. I mean, I would have loved to keep him. I mean, the man's amazing. He's beautiful off the ball, on and off the ball. But that's why we need signings. We shouldn't be relying on just 1 or 2 people up front, 1 or 2 people in the midfield, 1 or 2 people in the back four. We need a center back, a CDM, and a striker.
Yeah, totally.
And a right winger. If we can do that as well, a right winger.
Yes, honestly, yes. Because we can put Mason up there as a number 9.
So, I mean, I agree. I mean, if we can get those kind of signings, you know, for me, I'd like to see Declan Rice, Harry Kane or Haaland, Jadon Sancho, and Is it Jules Koundé?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Koundé, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's what I'd like to see. That'd be like then if Ollie in the first 5 games doesn't like win all of them, then I'm on your bus. I'm going to jump on Monday's bus. I'm going to jump on the bus on a Monday.
Can you like go apply and be the manager, and then you can yell at everybody in Scouse accents and like have it laugh?
Please don't do that.
I'm just kidding. I'm fine.
Don't do that.
Honestly, I don't. I mean, if you were my coach and you started doing that, I wouldn't take you seriously either. I'd be in the back, just dying.
We're pretty much at the end now. I want to say thank you for coming in and shout out everybody. Sorry, viewing right now. Please press subscribe, share, like. Thank you so much for tuning in to us on United Across the Pond. Let's shout out everybody's social medias and where you can find them. Let's start off with who I consider a dear friend right now, man. We've been speaking for a couple of weeks, man, and I love what you're saying, Omondi, man. Like, tell us where everybody can find you, mate.
Okay, so hi guys. I'm not really good at this, but I'm going to try my best. You can find us. We have our own podcast. It's called The Man, M-A-N, United Agenda. Okay? The Man, M-A-N, United Agenda. Look us up on YouTube. And also, we're part of FTB Football. So that's also on YouTube as well. And you'll also find some other channels on there to do with Arsenal, Liverpool, and Spurs. We all do some great shows. So hook us up, guys. If you like what you see here, and support our guy, Matt, with Football United TV. And give us a lot of support, please, guys, because we put a lot of effort into this. We speak from our hearts. There's no agenda, no bosses telling us what to say. And like what they say in real football, our word is our sword. So you're going to get honesty from us. And I love the panel today. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on a Monday. It means so much to me, and I'm sure Renee and Talk as well. Renee, where can we find you? Thank you so much for coming on yet again. Great to have you on. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah. You can find me at Speed Waffle, usually running my mouth on Twitter about something. That's all I use, really. So
yeah, you got banned, didn't you, or something like that recently?
Yeah, for saying that Ed Woodward and the Glazers were cocksuckers. One too many times.
Oh Lord.
And then turned around and did it again, and I don't know.
Brilliant. Thank you. That's why. That's passion. That's what it is, isn't it? Passion. Get blocked for that. That's cool. Like, that's passion. You know what I mean? You got to take a hit sometimes. Talk.
Well, you're gonna find me at Big Mo's Pizzeria.
Brilliant.
Hold on. I'll do that again. Take two. Well, you can find me on there. Right. All right. Serious, I'm at serious scum. Twitter, iTalkMU. You can find me on here, Football United TV, S Featley TV. And some sound like around and feel like all right, so do this. Yeah. Really in the road, man. You may find me wherever you want to grow, man. Sounds good to me, like, you know.
Oh man!
Thank you so much.
You're putting Darren Farley out of a job.
Oh mate!
Oh my god!
Anthony, thank you so much. Thank you, Brit Smill, and thank you, Mr. B. Go subscribe, share, like, follow everybody else's content. We are at the hour mark, and we are gonna call it a day. Have a brilliant weekend, and we shall see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.